Welcome back to the shop. This is going to be a pretty short video on breaking in your fresh motor. Either you just did a top end, or top and a bottom end, or it's a brand new bike. Both 2-stroke and 4-stroke. Now if you've caught any of my motor rebuild videos, you'll see I kind of discussed the break-in process at the end of the video. But this is for the guys that haven't caught any of them videos and are just curious, how do I break in my bike? I'm first going to start with breaking in a fresh top end. You just put a new piston in it. Both 2 and 4-stroke, pretty much the same break-in process for me. Now keep in mind, there are a million ways to skin a cat. There's a million ways people break in bikes. This is just how I do it. I've been doing it like this for years. It's done me well, and I haven't run into any issues doing it this way. But you know, there's other ways people do it, and that's fine, as long as the end result is good, meaning the bike turns out good. It didn't fry a piston as it was breaking in, or melt the piston on to the piston rings or anything like that. As long as the end result is good, that's all that matters. And the steps that I'm giving you here, I do know it works and the end results are good. So let's get started. Both 2-stroke and 4-stroke top end rebuild. I like to do 3 heat cycles on the stand. A heat cycle is where you just start the bike up, let it idle, maybe blipping the throttle here and there gently. No sharp jabs, just a roll in, like rung, rung. Just roll into it a little bit here and there, and just let it idle until it reaches full temperature. Full temperature for me is about 180 degrees. And there's 2 ways that I check that. Either one is I use one of these little things right here and kind of just shoot that red dot right on the radiator and see what find the hottest spot on the radiator, and I use that as my reading. Or you can use your hand, feel the top of the radiator right here, and when it gets to the point that it burns your fingers, you only can hold it about that long, and you have to let go. It's safe to assume she's definitely at running temperature. Now you don't want to overheat it. You don't want to run it so long that it starts puking water out of the overflow. At that point, you've overheated the bike. You don't want to do that, especially on a fresh top end. You just want to get it right up to running temperature and shut her down. On a 2-stroke bike, it can take quite a while till they build up enough temperature where the top of the radiator here feels like it's 180 degrees. It can take quite a while. They run quite a bit cooler than a 4-stroke does. However, on a 4-stroke, we're talking 3, 4, 5 minutes. It's really all it takes, and you'll notice it's pretty toasty up here. So keep that in mind. The 4-strokes heat up quick. They don't have fans on them like cars do. Remember that. You will overheat these things if you run them too long. So 3, 4, 5 minutes, you'll notice it is at its full running temperature, and you can shut it down. Don't overheat it. Just shut it down before it starts puking. That's important. When you shut it down, give it about 15 minutes to cool off. It doesn't have to get ice cold. You just have to give it enough time so that the temperature can even out throughout the motor. And while it's cooling off, it's a good time to go ahead and start checking for any water leaks that might have popped up. You're going to want, on 2 and 4-stroke, you're going to want to check all around the cylinder head, cylinder base gasket, cylinder head gasket, and all the hoses. Just make sure no leaks have popped up. These hoses, sometimes when we pull them off and put them back on, if it's an old hose, sometimes they can, once they get hot again, they can just split and just start shooting coolant out. So keep track of all that stuff, check it, and make sure everything's holding up well. You can even check the coolant level if you like, although all I do is just feel the top of the radiator. As long as the top of the radiator is as hot as the bottom of the radiator, I can assume that she is full of coolant. Typically, when they start running low, the bottom will be hot, but the top will just be like lukewarm. So that's a good way to tell that you're still full of coolant if you don't want to pop the cap off over and over again. But after she has about 15 minutes to cool down, go ahead and do another heat cycle, same way. Just let it get fully warm on the stand, about 180 degrees. Shut it down. Check the coolant level and everything like that again. Make sure no leaks popped up. And you want to do that 3 times. Or at least that's what I do. After 3 heat cycles on the stand, now you can go ahead and take it out to the track or any place you ride, or even in your yard, and give it the first test ride. On the first ride, you want to make it a shorter ride. God, that sucker's on there good. You want to make it a shorter ride, about 8 to 10 minutes long. Let me get something to knock that off with. And you want to avoid sustained full throttle during the first ride. It's okay for short bursts. If you just have to short burst to get over a jump or whatever, that's fine. You just want to avoid the sustained full throttle run. because during full throttle, the piston will be heating up quicker than the cylinder will. And what we're trying to avoid here is the piston expanding. Metals expand when they get hot. We're trying to avoid the expanding so much and faster than the cylinder does that it increases the friction between the piston and the cylinder wall to the level that the side of the piston starts melting off aluminum. That aluminum gets up into the piston rings, your compression goes south, and the bike shuts off. We're trying to avoid that. So you want to avoid sustained full throttle on the first ride. Make it a shorter ride, 8 to 10 minutes long. And after that, come back in and let the bike cool off for another 15 minutes. While it's cooling off, it's a good time again to check the coolant level. Might as well check the motor oil level at that point and everything, because after that, you're going to give it all the beans. So after 15 minutes of cooling down after the first ride, if everything checks out good, you can give it all the beans. She's ready to go. A quick example of what happens if you don't properly break them in. I did a top end rebuild on an LTZ 400. Told the owner, go home, break it in properly, gave him all the steps. I've already did about 2 heat cycles, but I like to leave the last heat cycle for the owner. Received a call from that night that he test rode the bike down his road when he got home. Made it to the end of the block, the bike shut off. So, well, bring it back. When he brought it back, he was unloading it. And I asked him, I said, man, did you go home and break this thing in properly, man? Like I told you. And his friend started busting out laughing. He totally ratted him out. He goes, man, as soon as he unloaded it, he went full throttle all the way down the street. I looked over at him. I said, for real? He goes, yeah, I didn't break it in. Well, we're going to have to buy a new piston for it. When I pulled it apart, I found the side of the piston skirt was melted. And that material got right up in the piston rings and wiped out the compression. Had to do the job all over again and clean off a whole bunch of melted piston off the cylinder walls. Good thing it didn't completely destroy the cylinder, but that's why it's important to warm them up and break them in good. And on the first ride, take it easy. Let everything break in. But now let's move to the full motor rebuild, both top and bottom end. On that one, it's going to be the same steps with the 3 heat cycles on this stand. Same thing. Full heat cycle until it's about 180 degrees. Shut it off. Give it 15 minutes to cool down. Checking for leaks. But at that point, you'll be checking not only for coolant leaks, but also oil leaks, because you did a bottom end too, right? So you had the whole cases split. So you're going to want to be checking everywhere, the whole motor, underneath it, every corner of the motor, and just make sure nothing is leaking. 3 heat cycles on the stand, but on the first ride, it's going to be the same thing. Make it a shorter ride, 8 to 10 minutes. When it's a full bottom end like that, or a full motor rebuild, I would say just don't do any full throttle on the first ride. Really, just don't do any. Take it if you ride mainly tracks. You can ride around the pit of the track, or take it to a field or somewhere around your house where you can just do a 8 to 10 minute ride, kind of easy. You just want to cruise it around. You know, you're not only breaking in a piston, but now you're breaking in a brand new crankshaft, brand new crank bearings. Also, if you've had to change your cylinder head out, that's real important. If you got to change your cylinder head out or your camshafts out, cam journals and cams where they ride at on the head, the cam journal, them can be scarred really easily if it's not broken in properly. So it's real important to give all that stuff some time to kind of work itself into each other. All right, so make it a shorter ride, 8 to 10 minutes. Come back, check all your fluids, coolant, and motor oil. Let it cool down for about 15 minutes, and then do the same thing. Another shorter ride, 8 to 10 minutes long, except this time on your second ride, you can do a little bit of full throttle here and there. Nothing long at all. Keep it short, just short burst. But, you know, another short ride, 8 to 10 minutes long, and avoid sustained full throttle. And then let it cool down again, another 15 minutes, checking all your coolant, oil, everything like that. Check for leaks. If everything comes out good, then go ahead and give it another ride. This time you can make it a full ride, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. By the third ride, I say it's safe to do a full ride, but just be a little easier on the motor on the first full ride, no matter how long it is. 10-minute ride, 15, 30 minute, an hour, whatever. just avoid really long, sustained full throttle runs. Try to keep it, try to keep things a cooler ride. Try to keep the motor cooler overall. So if I'm at the motocross track, I just kind of torque my way around. If I'm on a 450, so to say, I just kind of torque my way around the track, and I'll get over the jumps and stuff, But I just kind of avoid getting, like panic revving, hit the rev limiter in the air, that kind of stuff. I avoid that kind of stuff. I avoid over revving it. I try to stay in the meat of the power when I'm using the power. And but after that ride, after your third ride, remember the first one is shorter, 8 to 10, no full throttle. Second one's 8 to 10, maybe short bursts, full throttle, but only for short bursts. And on the third one, you can do full throttle, but you want to still avoid, and you can ride it as long as you want. But you want to avoid sustained full throttles, long ones, and you want to avoid over revving, and you want to avoid bouncing off the rev limiter. And after that, if everything checks out good, your oil's looking good, your coolant's looking good, no leaks, at that point, she's good to go. You can give it all the beans. And as for breaking in a brand new bike, you bought a brand new bike from the dealership. You're really going to want to break that in good. Not only are you breaking in a new piston with a new cylinder head with new camshafts installed, a new crankshaft and all that, but you're also actually breaking in the transmission. So for that one, same thing, 3 heat cycles on the stand with a blip of the throttle here or there, up to about 180 degrees, shutting it off, letting it cool down for about 15 minutes between each heat cycle. Again, check for leaks. Yes, it's a brand new bike, but hey, anything can happen, right? So make sure you check for leaks, make sure everything's holding up good, and if everything comes out good there, take it out for a ride. Same thing, first ride, make it a short ride, 8 to 10 minutes long. Come back in, check your fluid levels as it's cooling back down, give it at least 15 minutes to cool down. Make another ride, another short ride, 8 to 10 minutes long. Now, on these first few rides, you do not want to go full throttle, obviously, and you don't want to go very high speed. You want to kind of vary your speeds. I would say anywhere from first to fourth gear is fine. Just kind of stay out of fifth gear and vary your speed. So just don't get it up to fourth gear and stay there for a prolonged period of time. Bring it back down in speed, bring it back up in speed. And the reason I say this is because you're also breaking in the transmission. I'll give you a quick example. My brother picked up a YZ125 where the owner bought it brand new, went out, put it on the road, got it up to about fifth gear, and just stayed in fifth gear cruising for a while. Now that bike has 6 gears, right? But he went right up to fifth gear and just stayed in fifth gear. One of the gears on the transmission that he wasn't currently in, it was just idling. It's on the shaft's spinning underneath it. I guess it sits so tight on the shaft when it's brand new, the bearing for it's so tight, and it just got too hot, not enough lubrication, everything like that. Ended up melting that gear onto the shaft and locking up the bike's rear wheel. So my brother bought the bike off of him for about half the cost of a new bike, and opened the motor, found that gear was literally welded onto the shaft. It had motor oil in it, proper level of motor oil, nothing like that, so we can't say that was the problem. But my brother asked him, how he rode the bike when he first got it, and that's what he said. He said he put it in fifth gear, it was just going down the road in fifth gear, and that's what happened. So you're not only breaking in the piston, crank, everything like that, you're also breaking in the transmission and all them gears that spin on shafts. The shafts might be sitting still, or they might be moving a different direction or different speed than the gear that it's on. You're breaking in a lot of stuff. That's the point. So on your first 3 rides, I say make them shorter rides, 8 to 10 minutes long, and try to avoid high speeds, cruising at the same speed, and try to avoid full throttle. After that, I believe you're good to go. You can ride it any way you want. It's going to be okay. But just make sure you take some time to break in your brand new bike. That's really important. And of course, on a brand new bike, you also want to take the time to change the motor oil pretty quickly after break-in. And lastly, be it a brand new motor or a rebuild, it doesn't matter. It's always important to warm up your bike. Warm it up properly. I've been seeing a trend lately of a lot of pistons melting, even they're not brand new pistons, right? They've been in the bike for 10, 20 hours. but they're melting down the side of the piston, and that material's getting in the piston ring. I've been seeing a real trend in that lately. And one of the major causes for that is not warming them up properly. Again, the piston will warm up quicker than the cylinder will, and it'll expand quicker than the cylinder will. But you want them to, you want to warm it up easy so that they kind of expand together, because when you get in the throttle, the piston's going to get hotter quicker than the cylinder will. It takes time for the cylinder to catch up to get up to temperature with the piston. So warm them up. When I'm warming them up on the stand in the morning, I'm at the track or whatever, I just start feeling the top of the radiator, and I keep feeling it until I feel a substantial amount of heat. It doesn't have to be 180 degrees, but it needs to be pretty warm, where if you held it for at least a little bit, eventually you're like, okay, that's getting hot. And then you hold it at least for a little bit, like, yeah, that's getting hot. I don't want to hold that anymore. That's at least warming up. And then on the first ride of the day, I like to make the first lap around the track, or wherever you're riding, a sight lap, an easy lap. You should be doing a sight lap anyway, but that will give the motor time to distribute the heat, because most of the heat is coming from the cylinder head area and out the exhaust. So that heat's kind of coming from this area right here. You want to give it time to distribute into the cylinder and into the cases. And by doing an easy lap around the track on your first ride, you're going to give it that opportunity for the heat to kind of just distribute to the whole motor a little bit before you really just start getting in it. And that applies to both 2-strokes and 4-strokes. You want to warm them up properly, and it's even more critical with the forged pistons like Wiseco pistons that we're putting in our 2-strokes. Warm them up. It's real important. Get some temperature in there before you really start giving it the beans. Well, I think that's all I have for you in this short video. Appreciate you guys watching. Oh, by the way, last week I raced my YZ250. That's my 125 right there. 250's in the other shop. But over at the Moto Bros Punta Gorda I4 MX series, I got a 2nd place. Now, I mean, we all hope to win, right? But I kind of screwed the pooch on both the hole shots there and had to come from behind on both of them. Still was able to work out a 2nd place, so good enough. The turnout was great. This was the first race of the I4 MX series over here in Florida for the season, and man, that place was just loaded. It was nice. Had a great day of racing, and yeah, was hoping for a first, but that's how it goes sometimes. This weekend I will not be riding. I'm going to Daytona Supercross, so I hope to see you guys out there. Hey, if you recognize me out there, say hello. And hope to see you guys out there. Hope you have a great weekend of riding wherever you're at. Be safe. Catch you next time.